used in travel during this coronavirus time. So please stay tuned. We will be right back. Hi, good morning, everyone. And thank you for joining us for Seeking Sustainability Live number 76 today. We have Jessop Petroski, and we're talking about the future of travel. Thank you so much for joining us, Jessop.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Do you want to start by just briefly introducing yourself?
Sure. Yeah, so as Joyce said, my name is Jessop, kind of a rare name. Most people, it's their first time to hear it. I'm from the United States, born and raised in the state of Ohio. Moved to Japan back in 2009 and came over here. I was working in the publishing business, working with the American Chamber of Commerce specifically at that time. I've also done some work for the Ohio Department of Development years back. And in the last 8 years, I've specifically worked in various fields of digital technology, digital services, content creation. And so a bit of a hodgepodge of experiences. And now, most recently, as of last year, I jumped into the travel industry.
Yeah, it's very exciting. So you're in my territory now. So hopefully we're going to be able to meld our two worlds because you're an AR, VR digital expert. And I'm very passionate about sustainability. So we're going to try to put those together, those ideas today.
Sounds good.
I have your introductory video on Vimeo. Do you mind if I show that just to give people an idea?
Sure, that's fine.
All right, let's do it. See if this works. Very nice. I
Yeah,
love I love the
now,
music
yeah,
behind.
I don't know if those are taiko drums or not, but they sounded like it. And taiko are one of the most powerful, moving, musical performances I've ever heard. And so I felt that that was kind of a nice representation of who I am, and where I'm trying to go right now, trying to muster up as much positive energy as I can right now during these times. And so I whipped that together, I think, a couple weeks ago in some of my spare time, trying to brand myself a little bit.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's a great way to brand yourself and show your skill. You do a lot of those short videos, I've noticed, to promote different projects that you're doing.
Yeah, I kind of got back into that about a month ago. I had gone to school actually for 3D design and animation, basically making animated movies. This was back in 1997 when I think there was a handful, maybe Toy Story had just come out, and this whole world of animated movies was just beginning. And so I learned about video editing and animation and design and all of this stuff. But I did realize while I was in there at university that I'm not one to really sit at a computer too long for 10, 12 hours editing and modeling. And so I picked up the skills, but I never really applied them too much after I graduated a little bit here and there. But for some reason, during this time, I guess a lot of my past or my artistic intuitions kind of came back, and I started writing again. I started producing videos, et cetera, et cetera. And so I think that's one thing that's positive that's come out of this, almost like the arts, a little bit of a renaissance, and I'm seeing it more and more other people. I've got a friend back home he works at a hair salon, and they were shut down for a while. So what did he start to do? He picked up the paintbrush, probably hasn't painted or done any drawings, I'm sure, for years. He's doing incredible work right now. And so, yeah, I think it's a combination of
It's a
having more
great,
time.
yeah, great time to pick up things you haven't done for a while or brush up on things that you want to improve. It's great foundation building. And I think we'll talk about that a bit later,
Yep.
how this could be a great time for the tourism industry to also build a great brand, build foundations. Let's just touch on some of your previous work. You did an interesting mixed reality thing for Rakuten when you were working for them. Can you
Yeah.
just briefly introduce that?
Sure. So I was at Rock 10 during pretty interesting time where Rock 10 was really doing a lot of sports partnerships. They had just partnered up with the football or soccer team in Europe, FC Barcelona, quite famous. And they had also just partnered up with the NBA's Golden State Warriors as well. And so they were looking at a way to leverage these partnerships and maximize the technology that was within Rockton at the time. And so I think they made a request for proposals, and there was about 300 submitted ideas at that time. And our idea to leverage the technology of AR, which a lot of people have heard of, and they get confused with VR, virtual reality as well. And I thought, why don't we kind of bring the technology of the future to the present? It's very applicable, and yeah, we proposed merging FC Barcelona's coming to Japan. They came to Rock 10 Cafe, and they were going to display jerseys for fans to see. But I thought, why not only see them in a case? You know, it's a few seconds, it's cool, but if we can extract them in AR, it really makes an engaging experience. And so we, A, leveraged Rock 10's technology, and B, we gave people a really unique way to interact with a new brand that they know, and bringing jerseys framed in glass out in person, get to see them on the players in front of you. It was really an exciting project that a lot of people enjoyed.
That's great. We
Yeah.
got our first comment from Holy Grim. I'm so proud of my son, Jessop. He's an amazing man. Thanks, Mama.
Yeah, leave it to her to be the first to comment, right?
That's great. You got to have family support. But that's a perfect segue into, I want to introduce something which I think is very key to sustainability. You took paternity leave, and you did an amazing trip while you were on paternity leave. Can you introduce that to us?
Sure, yeah. So when my son was born, and my wife had taken a year off for that whole process, and I was lucky enough to be working at Rock 10 at the time as well, and they really encouraged this too. And so I took 3 months off, and we did a 7-week trip to the Southern Hemisphere with a 9-month-old baby at the time. A lot of people thought we were crazy, but you know, for us, it was all about getting out of the cold Japan winter and going somewhere nice and warm, but B, also just getting our son used to, you know, moving around, being exposed to different environments, different people, and getting to see the world through a different lens, especially before he was going to go into preschool from 1 year. And so we did 6 countries in 7 weeks, pulled it off without a hitch. all with backpacks as well. Packed light, very mobile, and it was an amazing trip. And I think, of course, our son probably doesn't really remember the details right now, but there are things that he'll see pictures or images or things around the house, and he will comment about it. So I think the seeds have been planted there, and it was a great experience. As we were out, we were meeting people doing the same thing, but by and large, I think most people would never imagine, going on a trip with a newborn under 1 years old. I couldn't encourage it more. I mean, we had no problems. Everyone was very supportive. You sit down to eat, the staff would come and carry your son and let you have a couple moments of peace as well. So it was nice.
That's really great. Yeah, we didn't take as much time as you, but whenever we traveled with our kids when they were small, it was always worth it. And it's such a great. I don't think you have to change your schedule too much with a young one, whether you're on the road or at home. It's basically pretty similar. So we also found very rewarding. But the reason I wanted to mention that is because it's so important, especially in Japan, for men to also play more of a role at home with parenting, and to take your paternity leave as a family helps to not only for your kids but also helps your relationship, and it helps society, I think, in a way, because you're creating a two-parent system instead of a one-parent system, and helping out each other, and that's really powerful part of social equity, I would say.
Definitely. I mean, of course, I was here for my son and everything during the 9 months while he was home with his mom, but we definitely established a very strong bond during those 7 weeks, and so I highly encourage it, whether you travel or not. I think, yeah, the father, especially in Japan, it's more and more uh, encouraged to do that. So, yeah, I'd be happy to actually talk with any father or any guy that's thinking about doing that. They could reach out to me and if they have any questions.
That's great. I just want to introduce your Instagram page.
Okay.
You also show your love of travel through all your posts on Instagram. You've been all over Asia and Europe as well, or?
Well, mostly Asia, to be honest. Yeah, I think I've covered most of the Asia Pacific countries at this point. Europe actually just a little bit, but I've primarily been here. Came here the first time in 2001. My father was actually working in Japan, and it was summer holiday in the U.S. I was in university, and he invited me over to spend 3 months with him. A little bit of bonding time as well, and yeah, it kind of sucked. It really sunk its teeth into me, and I couldn't. Once I went back to Ohio, I couldn't forget the experience in Japan, and so I've been coming back ever since.
That's great. And you're also very active on Vimeo and LinkedIn if people want to find you, right?
Yeah, LinkedIn for quite a while. Vimeo's a little bit new. Just opened an account a couple months ago. Part of a project which I believe we'll be talking about in a little bit. And so yeah, I'm trying to be active on most of the platforms. A, to, like I said, brand myself a bit, but B, I think it's really a little bit therapeutic for me to be dabbling in various forms of content and art. So
Yeah. And I came across your profile on Travel Massive. I'd never heard of them before.
yeah, I think I had met someone last year when I got into the travel industry, and I don't think they're too big in Japan right now. It's more of a global network. I think 60,000 people registered there right now, and so a great platform if you're looking to connect with other people and travel, if you're running events and whatnot. So yeah, highly encourage getting in there too.
And you did some work with ACCJ Journal and Metropolis, is that right?
Yeah, that was my first job in Japan. My introduction to the working life in Japan back in 2010. I had started that.
Yeah. All right, let's dive into your most recent exciting project between Ireland and Japan. Can you introduce that to us?
Sure. So this project really came about through a lot of serendipitous kind of opportunities. Well, one was back in March when everyone went into lockdown, and working in the travel industry, we quickly saw that cross-border travel was going to come to a halt for a few months. We thought maybe take a bit of a pause and then come back. And so I right away thought about leveraging technology such as we're doing here, and bringing destinations online, bringing the destination or the experience to people since we can't go there. And so I had a connection in Ireland who reached out to me in early March, and he said, "Hey, Jess, I think there's something we can do during this lockdown. We've got some beautiful content, some drone footage from Ireland, and would you be able to purpose it in some way in the travel industry to kind of bring hope to people around the world that, Ireland's very beautiful, but B, more than that, like just that here's something that can be a little bit therapeutic for everyone, watching this footage." And so I thought it was an interesting idea. I honestly didn't know what I was going to do with it at first. At the same time, there was a company here in Tokyo called Zyko. I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's an e-ticketing platform, and they're primarily in the music industry, and they provide e-tickets for people who like to go to concerts. So you can register, you can find concerts online, register, and you get the tickets sent to your phone. No paper tickets, very sustainable. They were also going through a hard time because all the events were getting canceled, and so there were these two parallels of not being able to travel, not going to events. And they had mentioned to me that they were quickly pivoting their platform into a streaming platform where people could come, buy an e-ticket to experience an event, a live event or a pre-recorded event online. And I thought, okay, this is it all